Smile, meet, chat, join for networking.
Hi everyone, I'm Martin Byrne from Business Protect, Mission Management and Core Business Solutions. Quick backstory about my life. I'm like this good gentleman here. I'm a proper southerner. I'm South Planet. I'm from New Zealand. My dad was a 10-pound pom from Manchester in the 50s. He did his national service, got on a plane and went to New Zealand, and I did the reverse journey when I was 21. I arrived in 1985. I spent 15 years playing in rock and roll bands, and on my 35th birthday, my wife came downstairs and said, I'm pregnant. I went, oh shit, time to get a real job. So I made the obvious move into financial services. Because what I didn't realise is that I've been selling myself my whole life, whether I was in bands, whether I was working in record shops or stalls and markets, I'd been selling. And it only took for me to kind of realise that, for someone to tell me that, I realised actually it doesn't matter, you know, whether it's a CD, a band, or a product or a service. So my dad passed away in 2006, and on the plane on the way back from New Zealand, I decided I wanted to have my kids grow up with a grandma and a granddad. So we moved back up north to Manchester, where my wife's from. So I arrived in Manchester as a mortgage advisor at the time. The only people I knew were my parents-in-law. They didn't need a mortgage. You can't cold call for mortgages because it's illegal. So I was in a position where I didn't know anyone, I couldn't cold call from a business, and I didn't know how to meet people. Didn't know how to meet people. So I did the first thing that you do when you start up a new business. I went and got some cards printed, because that's what you do, isn't it? You get cards printed. And when I went to pick up the cards from this guy, and he put them in, when he put them in my hand, I looked in them, I said, how'd you get to meet people? That's where I was at, business-wise. He said, have you ever heard of networking? I tried various networking. I tried BNI. Is there a swear box anywhere? I tried B for B. I suffer from something called BMT. It's business meeting Tourette's. If all gets too stuffy, I just shout out something inappropriate. So in BNI, that didn't go down that well. I spend at least £4 every 4N meeting I go to, but hey, it works. I then went along to something called 4 Networking. There was one group in Manchester. Terry Cooper was running it, and I called Terry the Irish Mafia because he made me an offer I didn't understand. Basically, I said to him, how do you get involved? And he said, go start a group. And I went, okay, I'll do that. And I realised very quickly that I could market my business on the back of a networking group. So I opened up Stockport, I opened up Macclesfield, I became an area leader, I then became a regional leader, and I took 4N from 9 groups in the Northwest to 26 in a calendar year. Because I'm one of those people that if I say, I'll have you 25 groups, and then I kind of have to go and do it, you know. I kind of set a stall out for myself. And I noticed after getting, you know, people would join 4N, they'd come along for 3 months, and after 3 months you go, how's it going? And they'll go, well, not really got anything from it. And you go, I'd say to them, well, do you mean nothing or no business? Because I kind of thought about all the things that I'd got from 4 Networking that really just meant that business was just a byproduct of 4 Networking. And so I'd try and ask them about all the kind of stuff they had got. So really this foresight's called What Do I Get? Because it's about all the other stuff you get from networking. So I got confidence from it. I've done 492 40-second pitches. So you got to get good at it, right? You know, you have to. Listen, my first 40-second pitch at my first BNI meeting went something like this. Hi, I'm Martin, please like me. You know, and I kind of built from that. You're getting sales skills from that. You get to practice your 40 seconds. You get to ask people about your 40 seconds. You know, if you say to someone, you know, what do you remember about my 40 seconds? And they go, you're an accountant, aren't you? You know, that's important feedback. If they don't remember what you said, then your message isn't getting through. So you get to get feedback in an environment where it's not really costing you anything if you get it wrong. You know, that's what's really important about it. You know, you get office banter. You start your business, like you say, in your underpants in your front room or your back room. It gets lonely staring at the walls. You know, I go to 4N, I get office banter, I get to share hopes, anxieties, problems, jokes, I get motivation, I get inspiration. You get to do due diligence on people that you either want to collaborate or work with. Because you know what, the old model is you hear about someone, you go and either hire them or employ them or pay for their services, and then you kind of hope it works out. You know, with 4 Networking, you actually get to find out whether people turn up on time, whether they follow up, whether they do what they say they're going to do, And then you can decide if you use them or not. So by the time you decide that you're going to use them, you've got a pretty good idea whether they're actually fit for purpose or not. They're going to do what they say they do. I've done that for suppliers, for collaborators, for business partners. I've got a new venture at the moment, which is a music-related product that I'm doing with 2 engineers and a business coach and one of the biggest crowdfunders in the UK. All met through 4Networking. We've all kind of known each other for about 2-3 years. And one of the things I always say about networking is when you meet the right people in networking, it's when, not if. You know, you just never know when the when is. So that's why you've got to keep doing it. Advice, you get free advice in networking. So, you know, if you've got some kind of legal problem, you're not going to call up a solicitor because you think he's going to charge me 50 quid for this phone call, you know. But actually at a 4Networking meeting, if it's business coaches, if it's accountants, if it's solicitors, if it's, you know, Twitter, if it's anything that any of you guys do, you know, getting your cash paid, you can just ask someone at a meeting. You get free advice. It's absolutely invaluable, and most people are prepared to help you. Contacts, you know, conversations make relationships. You get to build up local, regional, national contacts. You know, I was at a meeting in Chester yesterday and there were people there from Liverpool and all over. And okay, it was an hour for me, but you know what? I'll go an hour in any direction for a good meeting, or 4 hours in this case. But you know, you actually genuinely get to build up a national network of contacts of people that know who you are and what you do, as well as vice versa. And that is massively powerful, massively powerful. You get a raised business profile. Again, you know, I would say to anyone out there who is coming to 4Networking, if you want to get a national business profile, get on a team, because you get to prove that you do what you say you do again and again and again and again, and you get to fast track trust to people. You know, that's the big thing for me. I was working in financial services, and it's a big ask for people to trust you. You're asking people to give you financial, medical, personal information. So by actually turning up on time, running a meeting that started at 8, finished at 10, again and again and again, you know, you're nice and busy, plenty of visitors, people just look at you and go, oh, he's a guy that does what he says he does. It led to one of the biggest opportunities that I've had in business in my life. There was a company that needed a networking event run for them. They had to do something for Bruntwoods and Barclays. And someone, without even being known to me, when I was regional leader, they were, oh, well, you want to ask Martin, because he can run networking events standing on his head. So I ran 2 events for Bruntwoods, 2 for Barclays, scripted, hosted, delivered, because, you know, by the time you've done a couple of hundred, it's easy, right? And they made me a senior partner last year. I travelled to Qatar and Oman in May, and I'm travelling back out to the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. All I do is I look after their clients, take their clients over, take them to meetings, look after them, make them feel special. And you know, and that came about because actually I was just prepared to get involved in a team and be a kind of a can-do guy. And that's invaluable, absolutely invaluable. And like you were saying as well, you know, unless you're prepared to go out and do that stuff doesn't happen. So you put yourself in the frame. Friends, I've made genuine lifelong friends from networking. People I'm still in touch with that I met 8 years ago, I'm still in touch with now, you know, in networking. And it's not fake. They're not fake friends. They're not just like business friends. I've made genuine friends out of it. I've always thought of networking as, you know, you've got that meet, like, know, trust thing. Well, I've always thought there's a flip side to that as well. There's meet, don't like, don't get to know, don't trust. And that's okay, you know, because it's all about selecting the people you want to work with. In life, you don't like everyone you meet. You know, you pick and choose who you meet, and you can do the same with networking. Because of all of those things, you know, business has just been a byproduct of what's fallen out of me for networking. I haven't focused on it. I didn't get my first piece of business from networking for 7 months because I was a mortgage broker. So, you know, you needed to be in a position to want a mortgage, and you had to meet, like, know, and trust me as a person, which takes time. So 7 months before I got my first piece of business, but I've had so much from 4Networking, it's just been unreal. And I've spent a lot as well, because all my trusted suppliers come from 4Networking. You know, where else can you develop all those kind of sales skills and those office skills and those people skills in a friendly environment where people aren't going to shoot you down if you get it wrong, you know? It's fantastic. So in summary, don't look for pound signs over people's heads. Focus on relationships which take time to build. If you stop seeing people, the relationship dies. It's as simple as that. So you've got to constantly stay in touch with people. I'm not saying phone them up every day, that's stalking, but don't over or underestimate anyone in business, because you don't know who knows who, what you can do for them, what they can do for you, and where it might end up 4 years' time, where they're actually calling you on board and saying, actually, Martin, we want to make you a senior partner. Don't expect instant results. It takes time. You've all heard this from Brad before. It's like baking a cake. You stick it in the oven. Don't open the door halfway through and go, oh! It takes time. You've got to put the time in. And focus on all the other things, and business will undoubtedly drop out. Thanks for listening.
Smile, be chat, join for networking.